Oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna do this. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. What's up? It's your boy. Oh my god, crazy video right now. It's an episode summary. How can an episode be crazy? Well, this is an old show. Another thing that we're okay then wouldn't pass today. Kenny versus Penny is a fucking crazy show. When you think about Kenny versus Penny, you're thinking about this wouldn't air today, right? There's some competition. Who can smoke the more weed? Who do black people like more? Who do disabled people like more? And this one is one of them. Who do gay people like more? So we're basically with the title we're getting cancelled, right? And this episode they both go on a date with a. It's very simple. They both go on a date with what with I don't remember the guy name. I think his name was Chris. I think it's Chris. It's a gay guy, right? They have the strategy. Spenny again. I do prefer Kenny. Kenny is my main man. I do love Kenny. I think Kenny is one of the uh, funniest TV character I ever seen, and he's himself. So kudos, shout out, the whole Shazam. In this episode, I have to give a shout out to Spenny because again, knowing that Kenny is my favorite, Spenny is always himself, and you can hate him for it. You can hate Spenny for being Spenny. And there's a time where I hated Spenny, thought he was boring. But now that I'm more mature, now that I've grown and that I watch the show, and I think also the fact that I'm watching the show to analyze things, I think Spenny, in my eyes, is a lot less like he's a lot better, I guess. I still prefer Kenny by a landslide. But you see, in this episode, Spenny is being himself. He's like, he's not afraid of saying things, and I think this is something I relate to. This is some stupid shit. I say some stupid shit because I don't think before I talk, and sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not funny, and sometimes, but every time it's from the heart. So, for example, when he sees the gay guy, he's like, oh, I didn't know what to expect. I thought you were gonna be much worse. So those are things you don't say, but it's kind of funny. Spenny talks about how he feels that since he's in a competition and he lives with Kenny, it does seem kind of their relationshipy. It does seem like there's a homoerotic aspect to it. That's how he said it, and Chris. I'm gonna call him Chris because I do think his name is Chris. If it's not, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, it's all about the review. Chris is a character. He's an NPC. He's in a show, right? So I'm sorry if I don't get your name wrong. If I don't get your name right, I do appreciate you participating to the show, and I do appreciate you being who you are. Um, so Chris, he's super understanding. Penny Spenny talks about how he's intrigued by being with another man. He talks about how he is excited being with another man. Talk about the concept of being with another man exciting. As Chris says, Spenny doesn't think he's gay, but he's not straight. He might be bi, you know. And even Spenny is like, "Yo, I might be bi," and I think kudos because again, we're talking about the early 2000s. It wasn't really, it was pretty taboo to talk about homosexuality on TV. So kudos to Spenny, right? And he goes on a date and he kisses the guy again. In this episode, Spenny doesn't. That's kind of my. It's a weird, really weird thing to. And in this episode, I do relate to Spenny a lot. Why I relate to Spenny is because Spenny can be boring. It can be fucking boring. The show is Kenny versus Spenny. It's mainly about Kenny. Kenny is a funnier guy. Kenny's a comedian. Kenny made me laugh way more. There's a reason why I keep watching the show, and the reason isn't the show itself. It's Kenny, right? I think Kenny is much more entertaining. Spenny is boring, right? But there's an episode where Spenny is himself, and there's you can grow from seeing Spenny. You can grow from, for example, this episode. You can see that Spenny is very open-minded, right? And it's just beautiful. It's just amazing because you don't watch Kenny versus Penny to learn something. You watch it to laugh, to see something crazy, to see like a fucking car crash. In this episode, you learn something. You learn that it's okay to feel the way Penny feels, and I think it takes guts to admit that on TV. Do I respect Penny for this? Yes. Do I respect Penny as a whole for the entire show, knowing that he complained constantly? No. But if I really have credit to give, I'm gonna give credit. Kenny, oh my god, when I, oh my god, this is insane. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get, oh, don't cancel me, okay? we're having already this crazy show already, and Kenny does the unthinkable. He photoshop pictures and he pretend like him and Spenny are in a relationship for years, and he pretend like Spenny is gay but doesn't want to admit it, which is fucking brilliant. Because if I was gay, right, and I saw somebody that wasn't, I was saying that if I was gay and I knew somebody was gay, and I saw them say, no, I'm straight, I'm straight, I'm straight, because they're ashamed, I'd be like, fuck you, what's wrong with you, man? Be yourself, you know? I would be pissed because I, uh, I guess it's a battle. I guess there's like taboo. I guess there's like a certain shade shown in a day-to-day basis, you know, kind of like a racism, but homophobia, I guess. And Kenny, it's so funny because he pretend that Spenny is gay, but doesn't want to admit. So right away, the guy's like, "Why would he do that?" Right? And Kenny played the role perfectly. Kenny's a fucking genius, right? Kenny in this very episode is a fucking genius. He pretend like Spenny, he's taking advantage of him, and there's sometimes, oh my god, Kenny is such brilliant. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but this episode is one of my favorites. Kenny does say, it's my fault, you know, if you want to I have a boyfriend who pretend he's not gay, and I let him do, I enable him. What the fuck am I doing? And it's, even Chris is like, yo, this guy seems very hurt. And Kenny was gonna win by a landslide. It's so funny how Kenny is, oh my god, this episode, bro. Kenny, they're on the couch and they're talking about the date yesterday. And the Chris say, oh, I kissed Ben yesterday. And Kenny acts hurt. And at the end, Kenny fucks it up though, because he makes joke, he makes inappropriate joke, he's pushing it too far, and he makes it the Chris uncomfortable, and then Chris leave, and then they say that, oh, they both lose because it's a draw, because the guy just led the competition. And I feel bad for Chris, but what do you expect, bro? You knew better. You knew the show, you knew better. I understand that you were trying to prove something. I understand that you were trying to say we're inclusive. I understand that you were trying to say we understand, but you're talking to two crazy guys and you expect them to be reasonable, right? You can't expect that. When I talk to people, they don't think I don't expect them to think that I'm reasonable. I'm fucking crazy. I'm insane, right? And they should know that I'm insane. I said I'm still a good guy, but don't expect to have a conversation with me about fucking quantum physics, because I don't give a shit, right? And yeah. And the consequences is they both get teabag. Teabag is when you take their paws and you put them in somebody's face. Yeah, pretty simple humiliation, pretty effective.